Are you a software engineer considering Amazon as your next move? Here's the big question. Where do you fit into the Amazon structure? Let's say you're mid-level or senior software engineer in your current company, but with Amazon, you're hearing about L numbers, and then there's also Roman numerals, SDE II and SDE III. How does that translate to your current position? In this video, I'm going to break it down for you. So here it is. Here is the explainer for Amazon's engineering levels. I'm going to focus most of this video on the first half of this table, as statistically, that's where you're most likely to land. The base point is level 4, but you may be wondering what happened to 1, 2, and 3. There really are no permanent software positions below L4. L3 are hourly employees. L1 and L2 may be schoolwork experience, or the positions may not exist, so we can safely ignore them. So we start with L4, or Software Development Engineer 1. This is entry level at Amazon, but it's unusual for Amazon to take new graduates with no experience. L4s, SDE I are expected to have some experience behind them. That doesn't have to be serious coding elsewhere. Let's say your first job is as an analyst, doing a lot of scripting and number crunching. You probably should have some side coding projects, but that can get you to interview. At this level, you're expected to take well-defined tasks and deliver solid, high-quality code. You'll have plenty of supervision. You'll also be learning what's known internally as the Amazon Way or the Amazon Leadership Principles. At other companies, this is a junior engineer. Next is L5 or SDE II. This is what many companies would consider to be mid-level software engineers. At L5, you now own the features you're working on. You're defining the requirements, documenting the spec, reaching out and collaborating with other teams. You're also expected to mentor L4s. And here's the thing, a lot of engineering managers are at L5. Depending on how you want your career to progress, you can step sideways from here into management. That would be after several years of leading a team and mentoring an increasing number of L4s and possibly L5s. If you've got 3 to 5 years of experience at another company, this is likely where you land, but you'll need to demonstrate at an interview that you've done more than just write good code under instruction handed to you. That's L4. Make sure you're prepared to discuss how you refined the requirements from a reasonably large change request, how you collaborated with another team to utilize their framework. And once you've hit L5, you can spend a lot of years there. Amazon sees a big gap between this level and the next. It is considered very difficult to get promoted to L6, a lot more difficult than a move from L4 to L5. L6 is senior engineer at other companies, SDE III at Amazon. But here's the thing. Let's say you've gone past senior engineer where you're at, and you've got the title of principal or staff engineer. Well done. But you'll most likely be placed at L6 in Amazon. And yes, that means you're getting down-leveled. It's because the scope of the role is so greatly increased from L5 within the Amazon tiers. At L5, you own projects. At L6, your responsibility expands way beyond that. You're now responsible for an entire problem space, a whole area of technical challenge across multiple teams. Your work has to be seen to influence from 25 to 50 other engineers. You're an individual contributor, but you're spending a lot of time talking, presenting, and evangelizing your technical proposals. Does it sound like a principal engineer? Well, no. In Amazon, the principal SDE is an L7. To get promoted from L6 to L7 requires your manager and their manager to advocate for you. And even then, it depends on how much clout that they have. And L8, that's senior principal SDE. Even more clout is needed. You may have noticed in my chart that I'm missing a level 9. It's like floor 13 in a hotel. It doesn't exist. The next level after 8 is L10, or the distinguished engineer. Who gets those roles? Here's an example. James Gosling created Java. He was hired as a distinguished engineer. But you're not quite there yet? Yeah, you and most of us. So after all of that, the big question is still there. Where do you fit in? Let's walk through a pretty straightforward framework that you can use to map your own experience to these different levels. The key here is to ignore your current job title for a moment. Instead, look at your work across 3 dimensions: scope, influence, and impact. Ask yourself, am I owning tasks, features, or entire problem spaces? The level goes up, depending on where you're putting yourself there. Another question, does my work affect just my team? Or does it ripple out to wider teams, and indeed to the whole organization? Again, 3 levels. Most importantly, when it comes to the interview, what have I actually tangibly changed or enabled? That's what's really going to define your level. So 2025, 2026, you will have noticed Amazon has had a lot of layoffs. that have hit software engineering. I've done an entire video on that topic. You can check it out in the link I'm showing on screen now.